Captain's Log, May 8th, 2026. Hello, I'm Captain Vile. Good on you. You've made it to Friday.
I am tired, frankly. I've had a long day. And I'd like some water, but I don't want to go get it at the moment. And even then, it'd be tap water. It's whatever. I could trek back to the library and fill up my water bottle. At this hour, though, get kicked out of the library for filling up my water bottle at night a second time. Maybe not. Anyway, it happened again. Loyal listeners of the show are aware that there are a few recurring events. I have a rather routine life, and the few disruptions to that routine are often the same. So, there are only some options that your mind may jump to when I say that phrase. That being, the bus, I was running for it, it stopped, I got close to it, and it drove away. Again. I never wrote a letter to the bus company, but I'm very tempted to now. Anywho, that's not even like the most interesting thing that happened yesterday. I'm pretty sure a guy was some peculiar character was trying to trick me into not taking the bus just to see if he could. So, for context, I'll get into the movies, but I just want to explain this first. When I walk out of work, I take a right turn to what we will call bus stop A, which is the furthest from my house, but closest to work. I got off work at 9, and according to the paper at the bus stop, there's two ways of telling when a bus is coming. The paper, which is pre-planned and pre-put up, and then the digital screen, which is currently like what the bus is going on, like if like a crash happened or some crap, and there's an interruption. So the paper says 9:05. I look at the screen, and it actually says there's been a delay. It's going to be 17 minutes. So I walk over to bus stop B, which, to give you an idea of the geography, if I had taken a left turn when walking out of work, I would be walking towards closer to my house than A. And this is where the guy comes in. So I figure, well, it's a little, like, it'll take a bit longer for the bus to get here, but I've walked the distance, so maybe that'll make up for it. And I see this guy sitting in the bus stop, and he says, "Oh, there's no buses coming at the moment." And I give him a confused look, and I look at the screen, and it says there'll be a bus in 12 minutes. And I look at him again, and go, "What?" And he says, "Yeah, no, there's no buses coming." And I've already walked down to this one, and there's bus stop C, which is even closer to my house, which I did walk to, but I didn't really think about it that much. When in retrospect, I probably should have. But as I was like, okay, well, I guess there's no buses coming to this stop either. I'll just walk to bus stop C. I hear like a ha behind me, and I turn to look, but I've already passed the bus stop, and there's like you know how bus stops have like the ads as like the walls? I can only see the ad, I can't see him, and I'm not gonna like go through the effort. It was raining as well. Well, it wasn't raining. It was an annoying, like, it was sprinkling, but not enough for me to justify pulling out my umbrella but enough that, like, I don't want to, like, be in the open, and I was already a distance from the bus stop to hear it, because it was very faint. But I think he, like, laughed at, oh, I convinced that guy not to take this bus, or something. So I walked to bus stop C, and then it happened, the damn bus came, and then, oh well. I really ought to write that letter. I know that those damn things have rear view mirrors. I know that bus driver saw me and could see me, like, as I was running towards the bus. And I was close enough, again. This time I was even closer. I was, like, side to side with the back tire before it, like, started driving away. And the previous time I was close enough to, like, hit the back of the bus. This time I could hit the side. And you can see me, like, waving my hand. Still drove off. So I waited for 4 minutes, because, like, it's a distance from the other thing. And then the bus came, and I sit down, and as I'm getting to my seat, I see the same guy sitting down, and he, like, glares at me as I'm getting on the bus, as if, like, oh, he did get on a bus. I didn't, like, win, or whatever his motivation for telling me that was. But either way, I got home through the bus, even if it was maybe, like, a few minutes later than normal. Interesting. Just interesting. Anyway. Watched 2 movies. I've caught up. Last week, I didn't watch Belladonna of Sadness, and said I would watch it this week and see if I could nip this, like, being behind thing in the bud. And I did. So I watched Belladonna of Sadness and Richard III. So Belladonna of Sadness, which was my father's pick for our weekly movie talk, I gave 3.5, no heart, and said, a beautiful, interesting, and fluid animation style depicting a hideous story that lacks any subtlety. The evil king's head is a skull, and the devil's head is a dick. So, if you're not sure what this is, it's Japanese, I believe, animated adaptation of a story of a witch, or a woman who becomes a witch and seeks vengeance on, like, the evil lord who wrongs her. However, in the first few minutes of the movie, there's, like, a just graphic rape scene. And then, after that, another one. And then in, like, 40 minutes, it happens, like, 5 times. So, odd watch, have to say. And as it's, I mean, I just said it earlier, like, beautiful animation, just what it's animating most of the time. I mean, the scenes that aren't that are well done and nice. There's some nice landscapes that I enjoyed. But no, it's an interesting watch. Well, no. Alright, I do apologize for the pauses. I'm just thinking of phrasing. I don't know. I don't think I can think of anything. It's just good animation. Just maybe don't animate it that much. Anyway, Richard III. I gave this 4 stars and a heart. So this one has I have a bit to talk about. So I said, having never seen or read Richard III, I can't speak to how this is an adaptation, but I can speak on how it is as a film. Great. Richard is slimy and charismatic enough to both enjoy watching his rise to power and his fall from it. Him turning it to the camera to laugh at how he manipulated others or look at pictures of a murder he's ordered made him quite a fun villain and protagonist. So this is an adaptation of Richard III, except it's a fascist rise to power. It's set in, like, England in the 30s. So it's not a one-to-one adaptation. It's like a twist that's interesting. I like the gangster Romeo and Juliet. Which, thinking about it, Romeo and Juliet has had quite the number of odd adaptations, hasn't it? Where it's, like, faithful to the story, I guess, but not the setting. But that adds to it, because there's the gangster one I just mentioned. Then there's Romeo and Juliet, which led to Romeo, Juliet, and Sherlock Holmes. No, I apologize. Sherlock Gnomes. Going back to Romeo and Juliet, there's the Seal version, which features... I guess this isn't actually that accurate, because there's a shark island the Romeo seal gets sent to, and in his stead, it gets sent to by, what was he? An elephant seal? Anyway, he was just a huge, fat, green elephant seal. He was like the villain. So I guess it's not that faithful. But it sure is interesting. I distinctly remember the scene of this, like, otter or weasel. I think he was an otter because he was swimming. I distinctly remember him getting chased by the shark. I don't know why, but that's the only thing I remember about that movie, is the scene of him, like, tempting the shark with his tail, like he's using his body as a fishing rod, and he's, like, pulling up as the shark bites when he's on the shark island, and then him escaping the shark in the boat when he's, like, swimming through doors. It's mainly the noise in the second example that I distinctly remember. It's this Tom and Jerry metallic as he, like, goes through the door. But I can't remember what got us onto this. This was Richard III example was mentioned by my father a few months ago during a talk we had about these kinds of adaptations, but I cannot remember what it was that... So the gangster Romeo and Juliet led to us talking about Richard III, but I cannot remember what led us to talking about the gangster Romeo and Juliet, which was annoying. But it's several months ago, so I'm not that annoyed at having forgotten, because would you remember, like, unless it was like a crazy conversation, would you remember a detail that led to a conversation, or a tangent in a conversation you had months ago? I mean, if you can, good on you, but I can't. All right, so that's Media Minute. I do actually have another. I'm not sure if I want to mention it or not. I think I will. I'm not going to read it in full, but it has been a while since I have had a dream that I remembered fully and explained in Captain's Log. But I've written it down in a journal. I think I'll keep them. And I've written down dreams before, but since I wrote this down in, like, a physical thing instead of, like, on a Google Doc, after the explanation, this isn't very much use to you guys because it's an audio-only show, but I, like, drew aspects I explain in the dream, and I'm proud of that. I'm not proud of it. Like, it's just like some sketches of you're gonna hear about what happens in it, but I think they came out pretty well. Anywho. Here, I'll just read from the page. I guess I will read it in full. Never mind. I know I was doing all this pompous thing. So the context for this dream that you it's that thing with dreams where sometimes something isn't explained, but it's that kind of like dream logic where you just know about it. It's never brought up. You're just aware of that as if you're in like a situation. Is that I was on a school field trip and we were testing out some VR, some like state-of-the-art VR technology. So the beginning of the dream, or I guess beginning of the game, we're inside, and there's like 30 guys, me and 30 other people, are inside of this metallic skull. Specifically the mouth. Outside of the skull are flying monsters. They look like human torsos, but as the dream went on, they grew larger and more bird-like. At the end, we were being hunted by things akin to the King of Storms from Dark Souls 3. They functioned on a timer. 20 minutes where they were gone, and 40 minutes where they were attacking and prying into hiding spots. The point of this game is to get from the skull to, I don't remember what goal point or goal post, but there wasn't a map. I was another context thing where, you know, I have to move to this direction. And once the mouth of the skull opened and all like the demons were trying to kill people, everyone just ran out. Everyone ran in the same direction. No one like fled and tried to scatter. It was like uniform. Anyway, my strategy was to tunnel, since hiding spots were practically useless. The hiding spots changed based on our biome. We started in a forest, so empty logs and rocks and maybe like behind trees if the creature is like at eye level with you. And then it went to a field, so nothing. Lot died there. Only made it out by outrunning other players. Then a desert. This is where hiding spots didn't come into play, because for the next 20 minutes, you'll see, there was a massive cliff by a pyramid with scaffolding on the cliff face that led to the peak of the pyramid. During the 20 minutes of safety, I climbed the wooden path. I got there 18 minutes later. Somehow I didn't see the path kept going up, but I could either jump to the pyramid peak and dig into it. And by the way, the pyramid went up to a point, and then the, quote, peak was like a flat surface with this... So it's like... It's a pyramid, so it's like a square, but you know what I mean. So it's a flat square, and then there's like a circle in that square. And that circle is made of dirt that I just knew went down. So it was like a something. Anyway, peak of the mountain I could tunnel into. Or I could keep climbing the scaffolding up the cliff face. And there were like various jars, not jars, like clay jugs, and wooden crates, and loose pieces of like cloth that you could hide in or under. But I didn't do that. I, like, jumped towards the, like, pyramid, quote, peak. And the other guys, they went up top, going like, well, we gotta go up here, that's where the goal is. I don't know what you're doing in there. I guess when Einstein, I was surviving. Because I, like, tunneled in, and then, like, I heard the screams of every other player, but it was muffled by the fact that I was in dirt. And then I woke up. And then I'll look at my sketches here. I'll see if I can describe some to you, if you... So... Oh, I didn't explain this. There's a timer. I mean, I explained the timer system, but there was a timer it's like a VR game, so it's in our vision. It was just constantly there, ticking down. It would, like... As soon as it would hit 0, it would change to either 20 or 40, depending on what cycle you were on. Then the creatures... which looked like they were kind of like made of cloth that was torn when in their original state. And then as they became to get more bird-like, they kind of fleshed out, and then they just looked like an actual bird. They didn't have eyes, though. They had eyes as creatures, but they didn't have eyes as birds, and they gained teeth as birds. I may upload... I'll take a picture of this with my phone and upload it somewhere, maybe. I don't know. I don't think that's worth doing. But... I might. Then there's the beginning of the dream where the mouth didn't open. The creatures pried it open once the 40 minutes began. And then there's me inside of a tunnel looking, not out of the hole I climbed into, but, like, at the spotlight the hole creates, and there's, like, a shadow of the creatures sort of flying above. And then there's just the pyramid with the hole. So, riveting stuff. I know the most interesting thing you can listen to is someone explain their dream. But I like doing it. I haven't done that since the ship dream, where the boat impound lot. I can't get that out of my head. The boat impound lot? That's such a good idea. It's so funny. It's just a swimming pool, and not even like it's not even like an indoor lake. It's just like Olympic swimming pool, several rows. I have to 3D model that. I've got to 3D. You guys got to see it. I wouldn't be able to do it justice with 2D imagery. I'd need to make it like 3D, and then I need to like put it in Unity or something, and then like walk around it and show you. I'd make the like pool, but I think I'd just like download some like free models of like ships and subs and crap. But it's that ship impound lot just like flashes in my mind every few months, and it's like, yeah, I remember that now. God. There's nothing I can do with this idea, but it's just such a good idea that I like so much. I mean, the only thing I can do is show it off. I don't have that much interest in ever making a game. If you're like, Unity, Captain, are you gonna do something with it? No. Don't expect a game from me anytime soon. I got my hands full with animations. Alright? I don't want to, like, then animate and code. I'd be no good at that. Well, maybe. I've never tried. And I'm not keen on starting. Yeah, excuse me. Oh, sorry. I did have some stuff about Student A and Student B. I got time. Okay, so Student B... No. Alphabetically. Student A is gone. He's not shown up in a while. And had one of my friends not said his name, I was beginning to wonder, did I hallucinate this guy? Because no, he shows up the last session of last term, where only 2 other people can vouch for me, and those 2 other people we're not going to see until next year, because we're like in group projects and we're not longer like seeing that teacher. So if I've ever mentioned his like trauma dump he did, people would look at me like I'm insane. But my friend said his name, and I was like, oh yeah, I know that guy. In fact, I know the most about that guy than anyone here. But anyway, he's not shown up since, so I'm hypothetically, not hypothetically, I am simply speculating. I think he's got maybe a little bigger issues to deal with than showing up to school. Because I think his mother is really, again, speculating, really putting her foot down. Because he was living, like, allegedly living in the garden. Because he smelled like mulch last time I saw him. But I didn't really see if he had any, like, grass stains on his, like, shirt, and maybe, like, changed or something, but he smelled like he was sleeping in flowers. So we've not seen him again. We probably will not see him again. So just as mysteriously as he entered the school year, he left. Now, student B. Student B still smells disgusting, and I know this because student B weaseled his way into our break, and we specifically go to the student lounge on our breaks, which has tables, which suck to sit at, and booths, which are fine to sit at, depending on present company. Now that's when a wrench gets thrown into the works, because student B refused to leave. It was like, oh, hey guys, can I sit here? And then without waiting for anyone to answer, because he knows what the answer is, but if he can, like, intrude before people call him out on his intrusion, then he gets away with it. And that's just what he did. He said, can I sit here? While he was in the motion of, like, scooting into the booth. And I was the first one in the booth, so I'm at, like, the wall. And I was leaning into, like, the corner just on my phone. So there's maybe 90 to 85% of the booth that you could sit in. And he scooches all the way into the damn booth, though we're, like, shoulder to shoulder. And I glare at him. I'm trying to be polite and just, like, without embarrassing him, because as much as I don't like this guy, I don't want to just, like, humiliate him in front of, like, a group of people, because this is, like, a public spot. So I don't want to say, hey, buddy, you smell like shit. Could you please scooch over 5 inches? So I just look at him. And he looks at me. And just, like, smiles. And then turns to my, like, friends and starts, like, butting into the conversation. So I ask him, could you move over? And he goes, and pretends not to hear me, because there's music going, despite the fact that he's butted into the conversation. And it does not help that, okay, he did scooch over, like, a little. But it does not help that he proceeded to just, like, emphasize what he was saying with his hands. A very innocent thing to do on its own, except he did it in such a way that this is going to be difficult to explain. So I'm going to need you, the listener, to kind of follow my motions. If you are sitting in a desk chair, put your hands on the armrests. If you are not sitting in a desk chair, mime as if you are doing so. So your hands are hovering above nothing at your side. And then rotate your shoulders. Do not move your elbows. Rotate your shoulders about 90 degrees. So you should look like you are driving a motorcycle. He did it like that. He's... to just destroy any subtlety of here, just... he raised his armpits, alright? And boy, that didn't help the scent. So that was a fun hour-long break. Anyway, we're moving on to our 30-second... Oh, my 20-second ads. I didn't say that. So, everyone had pretty, like, basic, oh, it's a video resume. And then I come into class with my 2000s style infomercial about buying the rights to murder me and harvest my organs. Excuse me. And it was actually pretty well received. People thought it was very creative and well edited. And everyone clapped. And then the president walked in the door and shook my hand and then gave me a check for $1 million. But no, it was well received. People liked it. I mean, the lecturer certainly liked it. It was I'd say, I mean, tooting my own horn here, but definitely the most, like, creative one. I don't think it was the best one, just the most interesting to watch. Because, oh, everyone's just doing, like, hey, I know how to edit, I know how to do this. or hey, here's something I've edited before and I'm just using it for this quote project. And then I've got like, hey, do you want to kill this guy? But we're moving on to 30-second projects. And this is a group project, but it can be done individually. I'm doing it individually because I thought of an idea for what we're advertising that I liked so much that I would only be able to do it alone. Because if I did it in a group, it would be like one person does all the work and everyone else just gets like a free ride. And I'm not going to do that. So I'm just doing it alone. What am I doing? I am doing like a... I'm not using any footage, I'm using images. I can best describe it like that. But what I'm actually doing, I want to be a surprise for you listeners, because I'll upload it on youtube.com when I'm done. But student B, the lecturer, kind of realized, okay, no one wants to work with him, and everyone has like 6 members in their group. So you guys have, and this is like you guys excluding me, and I didn't do. Okay, he's in my friend group's group, but I am working solo, and I want to state this is not me jumping ship, going have fun, losers, and just going like alone, because I'd rather do that and deal with student B, even though I would. No, I came up with the idea for this and was like, oh man, I'm very tempted to do this alone, and I made that known to my friends who were planning their own thing. And they're like, okay, just do that. So it was agreed. And then at the end of class, he's like, okay, guys, yeah, we need student B to be in a group, and you guys have like 3 members instead of 4. So maybe I did kind of screw them over unintentionally. But I didn't mean to. Anyway, so he's in their group, so they can have fun with him, and I can have fun with not him. I'll be sure to update you, because more student B anecdotes coming soon. Because I mean, I'm gonna help them film. They need actors, and I have the natural charisma, of course. And they're probably gonna use him as an actor. Anyway, so don't have a natural way to end this because I went on way longer than I intended to. Well, not really intended to, but thought I was going to. So, just thank you for watching, and goodbye.